Good morning and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Mimi, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today is Mimi's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the corrections and motivations we give her while we are working with her, and the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction. Correction that we give is a tug and let go to the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Mimi's been fitted with her own personal training collar, and we'll show you how to properly use this during your one-on-one lesson. As you can see, Mimi is seated on Fred's left, which is where all our obedience training is done. The first command they'll demonstrate is heeling, which is proper walking on a leash. And Fred and Mimi take off doing that now. The command you want to use for this is Mimi heel, and then you start walking and she'll fall right in line on your left-hand side. And we've also gone ahead and incorporated our sit command into this, so anytime Fred stops his feet, Mimi will sit. There's an example of that automatic sit there. That's important when you're heeling Mimi, that she walks nicely at your pace without trying to pull ahead of you or lag behind. If she does attempt to pull ahead or lag behind, say no, give a tug and let go correction to her training collar, repeat that command to heel, and then start walking again. Now the next command they'll demonstrate is our stay command, which is a hand and voice command. Fred will use the open flat of his left palm an inch or so from Mimi's muzzle and the one-word command to stay. He walks out to the end of the training leash. Now this is a great exercise to build up self-control in Mimi. You can start practicing this one at about a minute's time and work your way up in increments until you get to about 3 minutes. Now as Fred returns back to Mimi, he'll walk all the way around her, providing an added distraction as he goes behind, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. She holds that sit-stay throughout, he gives her a little praise, and then heels her right out of it. And we'll show you a little more of the heel sit and stay. So I know heeling was one of your major issues with her, pulling on the leash. She's been trained to walk very nicely on the leash, right at your left-hand side, and sit every time you stop your feet. Now if her head starts to go to the ground for something, you give a slight correction, repeat that command to heel. Now here Fred will show you the stay again, hand right in front, one-word command to stay, and out to the end of the training leash. This time he gives her a second to hold it, and he'll demonstrate our come or recall command instead of returning back to her. He calls her in using her name, she gets up, tail wagging, comes in, sits right in front of Fred, and then we have a move called the finish. Fred will heel Mimi right around the back of him, and gets her right back to that proper left-hand side heel position, and she sits. And he'll demonstrate that recall one more time. She's in a sit, he gives her a stay, and out to the end of the training leash. Gives her a second to hold it. And then he calls her in using her name. She gets right up, comes into him, and sits right in front. Then the finish, one more time, right around the back, and right back to the left-hand side heel position, and she sits. Very nice job. He gives her some praise and heels her right out of it. That's a good time to remind you want to practice all your commands with Mimi about 15 to 20 minutes a day, just to keep the commands fresh in her mind. And you can practice them inside or outside your home, and then just start incorporating them into your daily routine with her. Next up is going to be our down commands. The first is down from a heel position. And Fred will use the open flat of his left palm straight down to the ground and the one-word firm command to down. He then gives her a stay and walks out to the end of the training leash. It's another great exercise to build up self-control, and you can start practicing this one at about 3 minutes time and work your way up in increments until you get to about 5 minutes. Fred will return back to Mimi one more time. He's going to walk all the way around just as he did on the sit stay, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. She holds that down stay throughout, and he heels her right out of it. Now he's going to show you that down again one more time when he comes back around. And you'll see Mimi's doing very well, but it's always important to follow through with your commands. So if at any point Mimi does not respond to a command you give her, or she breaks a stay, the first word out of your mouth is going to be no, followed by a tug and let go correction to her training collar, and then you're going to repeat the command you've given her. Now Fred gives her the down again, and a stay, back out to the end of that training leash. And this time he'll give her a second to hold it, and he'll demonstrate that come or recall command right out of the down position. Calls her in using her name. She gets right up and comes into Fred and sits in front. And then the finish one more time, right around the back of him, and right back to that left-hand side heel position. And she sits. Very nice. We'll give him a second to get lined up for our final obedience command, which is down from a distance. This will be the down from a distance. You're going to have her in a sit, give her a stay, walk out to the end of your leash. And this is the only time we use our right hand to give the command, and Fred will drop Mimi into a down from the end of the training leash. Very nice. He then returns back to her one more time. He walks all the way around and right back to that left-hand side heel position. Excellent job. Alright, we've demonstrated for you our basic obedience commands that we've worked on with Mimi while she's been here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Mimi, and we thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.